This is the BroStorm Sports Podcast. Thanks for joining us. On this week's episode, we're going to get you primed up for the Super Bowl, and we catch up with defensive tackle Darius Stills, who spent some time with the Chiefs, get his insights on the game. We talk a little NBA at the end just to get you ready for that season. It's going to be a good episode. Stay with us throughout. Welcome into BroStorm Sports. It is Friday, February 10th, and we're recording 2 days before the Super Bowl. This is our special Super Bowl edition. I'm your host, Sasha Bushka, joined as always by my brother, Scott Bushka, and intern P, hanging out in my basement. How's everyone doing today, fellas?
Let's go, intern P. Wake up, dude.
I am up. Don't you worry. I'm hanging out. I'm excited to be here. I'm a little sad there's only one game of football left, though. I am very joyful, but also sad at the same time. I'm going to miss football a lot.
Let's go. It's 5:50 a.m. here in Portland. You'd think we were getting paid for this shit. My kids are still sleeping. I've been chugging coffee for an hour. I miss you guys. For the listeners, Sasha and intern P have been on a love romance cruise for the last week. So I missed you guys. I'm excited to talk football, and I'm fired up about the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, programming note, we obviously missed last Monday for those who are subscribers and get it into your feed every week on Tuesday morning. That's why we're doing this special Super Bowl edition. And then we'll be back in action this Monday night after the Super Bowl and continue our regular cadence after that. But got a lot of new listeners to the pod, so if you're just joining, we cover a lot of football stuff, and we're going to get you primed up for the Super Bowl this Sunday. I just want to start, kind of go to Scott and talk about what matchups you're looking at in this Super Bowl that you think could potentially determine the outcome.
I have a couple important questions before that.
Okay.
Did you and intern P both go with the all-you-can-drink package on the cruise?
Yes.
Or,
yes,
or did you just buy one and smuggle drinks to intern P for the last 6 days?
No, I had a lot of drinks. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
We both did get the drink package. I don't think the smuggling operation would have worked for it having enough drinks. Also, every adult in a room has to have the drink package if one has it. I think what you're forgetting about our smuggling operation when we went on a cruise as a family is that you and Seth both had wives that were giving up a lot of drinks to me.
Yeah. Did your Sasha's wife / intern P's mom doesn't really drink, so I'm sure she didn't get the drink package.
That's a valid point.
That's a joke. Love
just for the record, Sasha's wife, aka my wife / intern P's mom, probably slept on average 15 hours a day for the last 5 days.
Amazing. Okay, second question. Did you all, more I guess directed to Sasha because intern P is a Bengals fan, did you think at all about going to the Super Bowl?
Did I think about going to the Super Bowl?
Did you think about going to the Super Bowl?
Like having the ship just drop me off in Arizona? Or
Well, I guess I'm bringing it up because I've been not seriously thinking about it, but like as the weekend gets closer, I'm like, why am I not in Phoenix? And I even once had Kelsey be like, you should go to Phoenix.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm sitting here talking to, you jabronis, to steal a term from Travis Kelsey, at 5:50 a.m. thinking like, why am I not going to Phoenix?
Yeah, it didn't cross my mind. One thing I will tell you about the experience on the boat, I did not see a single Eagles shirt on the boat of the cruisers, and I probably saw 50 or 60 people repping Chiefs. So we've got that going for us. But you might
have a little selection bias there of Chiefs versus Eagles fan choice of
the location of the port.
The location of the port and type of vacation. I mean, I don't know. Where does a cruise take off from if you're in Philadelphia? Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you would go to a different port than Galveston. Like, if you live in Kansas or Missouri, Galveston's going to be your closest port. You just drive down there. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about the game?
Let's talk about the game.
I'm, as evidenced by the drinking of coffee and yelling at P, I'm excited about the game. I think we got the two best teams. Line's been holding steady at 1.5 pretty much the whole 2 weeks, which is crazy. I personally, so Eagles by 1.5. Don't get me started on the disrespect of the Chiefs not being favored, but although I will go there a little bit. It's been maybe a little boring, but like all the shit talk leading up to the Chiefs Bengals was fun. And I actually think I helped the Chiefs. We haven't had a lot of that this go around. It's like we love the Eagles, we love the Chiefs. There's brothers. Andy Reid's like a big lovable teddy bear. So I've missed that a little bit. I am getting pretty tired of hearing. It's like, how many times have you heard over the past 2 weeks that 1-53, like the Eagles are just way better than the Chiefs, and the only way that the Chiefs have a chance is because of Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, for listeners, if you haven't heard yet, won the MVP, 50 votes. Mahomes got 48, Jalen Hurts got 1, and Josh Allen got 1. So if Jalen Hurts wants to be pissed about that, I guess he could. So I do think there's like a disrespect card to play here for the Chiefs. And I know we'll get into how we play out, but curious, like both of your take on that and whether or not it's warranted.
Yeah, I think that there is a little bit of a disrespect card. I don't think it's Andy Reid's MO to kind of like look for that slight and use that as motivation for his team. But I do think if you're one of these other 52 players on the Chiefs, you're thinking like everybody's just saying it's all about Patrick Mahomes. If you're Chris Jones, you want to prove that, yeah, their D-line got 70 sacks, but I'm the best D-lineman on the field in this game. If you're Nick Bolton, you want to prove you're a pretty good inside linebacker too. Frank Clark is one of the leading sack getters in playoff history. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that there, but I do agree with you that it's a little bit of a love fest between the two teams. Like, I was catching up yesterday after we got off the boat on some of the media day stuff and the opening night stuff, and, like, there was a clip out there of Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes just chatting it up while everybody else was on stage going. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes would have been as inclined to just being super friendly with Joe Burrow before that Bengals game. So the fact that there's
Joe Burrow
smoking a Joe Burrow, as Pat Mahomes Sr. would say. But I don't think Andy Reid had to like try to play the disrespect card before the Bengals game. I think it was evident that the Bengals thought they were tough shit, and the Chiefs players just knew that. So it will be interesting who comes into the game with more of an edge from a standpoint of like, not like an edge on the field, but an edge in their mentality coming into the game.
Yeah, so I love this question. How does this affect Patrick Mahomes' legacy? I mean, Sasha was telling me about how one of the reporters, Agnick Sirianni, is this a must-win game? And obviously it is a must-win game, but if Mahomes loses this game, how do we look at him after this week? I mean, he's that would make him 1-2 in Super Bowls, 1-3. How important is this for him? And I think that's going to put a really big chip on his shoulder because he listens to all the noise. So
I think it's the right question. I do think it's really important for him because if you go 1-2, and let's say he plays a bad game, you'll have 2 straight years where, the Chiefs got eliminated from the playoffs with Mahomes not playing a great game. I think that's pretty unlikely. I've read some stuff that's like he's played 94 games in his career, and 3 of them you could actually qualify as like a bad game. So I think one of them was the Bengals AFC Championship game last year. But I think you're right. If he loses, like there might start to be a narrative around him winning the big game, which won't be fair. He's only been 5 years as a starter, all 5 years of the AFC Championship game, 3 Super Bowls, but then he would be 1-2. That's just kind of the way that I guess I'll say we as a media. Are we sports media? Sasha is. Intern P definitely is not. I would not give him that designation.
Maybe one day.
You would think Intern P would have an edge going into this game the way Scott talks to him, but I don't think it's there.
Anyways, you're right. I think it's really important to him because you're going to start to have a narrative if he loses.
It's important. There could be like the big game narrative if he loses, but like every season ends on a loss if you're playing, unless you win the Super Bowl, which is obvious to say. I think more importantly than there's a narrative about the big game if he loses. If he wins, then he's already one of the greatest big game quarterbacks of all time. He's not there with Brady, who's won 7 Super Bowls and all that. And Montana's won 4, and he was 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. But he would have 2 seasons where he didn't lose a game at all in any big game out of 5. So that's a 40% hit rate. And then another one where he went to the Super Bowl, and another 2 where he went to the AFC Championship game. In the first AFC Championship game, he played an awesome game, almost outdueled Tom Brady, and they won on getting the ball first in overtime. So he would basically have 1 year out of 5 where he finished on a bad game. So
for sure,
I think he's already kind of proven that he's going to go down as one of the greatest big game quarterbacks there is. But this win would definitely help cement that. And it is very important that he gets it. You go to enough of these, you go far enough in the playoffs enough times, you're going to lose some of them. But this is a big one for Mahomes for sure.
Yeah,
but we're going to say that anytime he goes to a Super Bowl for the rest of his career.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady was, I think, 7-3, which, first of all, absolutely insane to go to 10 Super Bowls. But
yeah.
Anyways, Sasha, you asked, we got on the topic of Mahomes, which I think is the most important topic for this game. You asked what I was most excited for. I actually think there are so many interesting matchups in this game, and there's actually like a lot of strength on strength and strength on weak. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff. I actually think the thing that will decide the game is Steve Spagnuolo's game plan. It like when the Chiefs are on the field against the Eagles offense, which I'll get into it a little bit when we make picks. But the way that the Chiefs lose this game is the Eagles. They can't get the Eagles off the field, and they're just running for 3-4 yards a pop. They go for it on 4th down, and they have 9 or 10 minute drives, and our boy Mahomes sitting on the sideline. So I think there are some ways that the Chiefs can avoid that. So I actually think that's like the most interesting on-field matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to get into it, but it might be one of those games where you have to get a little bit more aggressive. And if you give up a big play, so be it, but you might get a turnover out of it instead.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly where I'm going is like Spagnuolo's stripes are actually to be super aggressive. He has dialed that back this year, but I think you got to, I'll get into it, but I think you got to really speed up Hurts. And who gives a shit if he hits a 60-yard bomb to A.J. Brown? Because guess what? They're off the field, and then you put Mahomes and Kelsey back on.
Yeah. I'll go to another direction. I mean, people are making a big deal about the Eagles' defensive line, and rightfully so. So, like, you're tempted to say the Chiefs' O-line against the Eagles' D-line, which, I mean, any line-on-line matchup is going to be very important. And we're going to talk to a D tackle in the next segment, Darius Stills, and he'll probably have some thoughts on this as well. But also just the Eagles' defensive line versus Patrick Mahomes' ankle. People are forgetting he did have a high ankle sprain. It could still be a factor, and I'm hoping it's not, is the thing. And the question is how much scrambling around does he do, or how much is he just trying to get the ball out quick? I think the Chiefs' D-line is really good, but at the tackle position, Orlando Brown Jr., I think, is better in run blocking than he is against the pass rush. And Andrew Wiley leaves a little bit to be desired on the right tackle. So that could be interesting how the Chiefs hold up on the edges against the Eagles' D-line.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And one common refrain I've been hearing this week is like the Chiefs were playing 3 backup O-linemen in that Super Bowl against the Bucs, which is true. And I've said it to people. One of those 3 backup O-linemen was Andrew Wiley.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he's been starting now instead of just like getting thrust into the Super Bowl. And the other 4 guys, are a lot better around him than what they were.
Yeah, I agree. But I agree that that's a really important matchup.
Pete, you looking at any matchups?
I mean, obviously the
Tinder.
secondary. I don't have any matches on Tinder. I was actually off of it for a week, so have to get back on that train. No, but I mean, Darius Slay.
What do you think the percentage of intern P's swipe lefts are?
It's actually is swiping left. Are you saying good or bad? Because that means you don't like them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it's
probably like
80%. Under 5%. Under 5%.
Oh,
is there a DraftKings prop bet on that?
Yeah. I'll do some research. I'll see my matches, and there's ways to tell how intoxicated I was when I was swiping. So,
can you please send a copy of your profile pic to J Miz so we can put it on the social media account?
Yeah, my profile pic is lit. I think it's my Pratt baseball headshot. So the girls like college baseball players. So
Go
you just
Beavs.
put that out there. Yeah, exactly. No, but getting back to the game, we can talk about Tinder all day long. I will do that with you. But just a secondary, and what's the status on the wide receivers? I mean, Juju and McCole. What's their status?
McColl's not playing, from what I understand.
He's not playing.
I think everybody
Okay.
else is.
Okay, so that's
everyone,
good, but
everyone else, including Justin Watson, which I actually think is kind of a big deal, is going.
Yeah, Justin Watson, I could see him making a big play at some point in the game. Just he had a few big plays throughout the season, and he's just kind of the guy you forget about. And it would have been nice to have him in uniform in the AFC Championship game. Like, we had Marcus Kemp running routes out there.
100%. It would have made a big difference. He's big and fast. So
I want to do this real quick, because I don't think anybody really wants to hear P's analysis of any matchups anyways. I'm gonna rattle off some prop bets. I'm gonna mark down what P thinks is gonna happen on some of these, and then we'll do that real quick, and then we'll get into our picks of the game, and we'll give you exact scores, and then we'll get ready for our interview. So, P, first of all, heads or tails?
dude, tails never fails. So if any of you guys are listening, you're gonna pick heads since I picked tails. So just keep that in mind.
Scott, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to.
Did you know the team that's lost the coin flip has won something ridiculous, like 17 out of the last 18 years or something?
So
you want the Eagles to win the flip
and defer.
Okay, that's fair. Well, good thing it is a 50-50 bet, so we'll
teams
see.
Generally always defer, or pretty much always defer. So maybe it's just getting the ball first helps you win the game.
Yeah.
And I did see a stat about the percentage of teams that score first winning the Super Bowl is extremely high as well. So there might be a little correlation between those two stats.
Interesting. I also saw that the team wearing white has won. Like that's probably the 17 out of 18 that I'm thinking about. Anyways, 2 weeks of stupid ass content leads you to stuff like that.
Pete.
Yeah, the consuming stuff. Yeah,
first
what's up?
All,
let's hear it.
Does anyone know who's singing the national anthem?
Oh, God.
No. I just know Rihanna. That's all I know.
Yeah, Rihanna's singing the halftime show, if that's what you call it, performing it. I've heard a lot of talk about Rihanna. There was a reporter yesterday I was watching a Patrick Mahomes press conference. He told Patrick Mahomes that Rihanna said he was the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
And Patrick reacted to it, got pretty pumped about it, and then the reporter was like, Rihanna didn't actually say that.
Yeah, so. It was Brandon Marshall. It was Brandon Marshall. But then Rihanna followed back up and was like, basically did a video being like, I love Patrick Mahomes. So, but it was kind
Chris Stapleton is doing the national anthem.
All right, P, do you think Stapleton's a long singer or a short singer? Over or under 95 seconds?
I think he's going to crush the under. I think he's going to just try to get out of there. What is that, a minute and a half-ish? How long does it normally take? What's a normal national anthem? I mean, is there a pace?
I think you hammer the over on that one. Stapleton, yeah, Jay
I
Miz
don't know.
liked it.
Country singers go quick. They love that. They're gonna have some beers in him. Maybe he's a little bit too drunk, and he's just gonna need to get it over with.
Give me your favorite Chris Stapleton song, P.
Tennessee Whiskey
All right.
would be my my go-to. Do you want me to sing it for you? I will. Yeah, my
He
beautiful
spent the
voice.
last week at a piano bar, so he's in a karaoke mood.
No, we don't. No, we don't want you to sing. Make some props so we can pick the game.
All right, P. Team to score the longest touchdown: Kansas City or Philadelphia? Joe
the
Burrow's not
chalk
playing.
pick. Yeah, I know Joe Burrow's not playing. The chalk pick is the Chiefs, just because they're so explosive. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one. I think it's gonna be a 40-yard run by Jalen Hurts. I'll even call my shot.
So I don't disagree with your pick. I think I disagree with your analysis that the chalk pick would be the Chiefs there. Like the Phillies have been the big play offense all year long. Like, granted, some of it's running, but they throw the ball deep or they run. They either run long or throw it deep to A.J. Brown. The Chiefs have been intermediate all year long. Their explosives have been down big time with Tyreek Hill gone, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I agree. I agree. There is no Tyreek Hill. It feels like he's still there the way they're playing. They haven't missed a beat since he's left. But what do they look like with Tyreek Hill? I mean, are they that much better, or? I mean,
They're just different.
They're different. Their average like yards ball in the air. I forget what the formal stat of that is. A lot shorter, but they've got a ton of yak. They like lead the league in yak by like 1 million yards because they just throw it underneath the guys in space.
Yeah. I think they're going to really see the fruits of that Tyreek Hill trade next year because they picked up a lot of new players as a result, and they're rookies this year, and they're fine. But they'd just be different. So
yeah. All right. I think we probably better get into picking the game.
yeah, let's do one more. Color of the
Yeah,
Gatorade,
one more.
Bath B, and then we'll pick the game.
I think I'm going to go with no Gatorade. I think it's going to be water. I think they're going to do water, especially if the Chiefs win. I think they're going to do it. Plus 1,000, I think is what I saw.
So you're
Yeah.
other
Water.
because the choices were
I'm
yellow or
other.
green or other.
Yeah,
Is that even
I
a
want-
thing?
I want
Water?
other.
I don't think so.
I read it was no Gatorade. I want the highest amount if you're going to do this.
Oh, so basically he's going for the plus 10,000, which is never going to happen.
What do you
Not
mean?
with
You
that
read,
attitude.
what do you mean you read it? Never mind.
How do we know it's no Gatorade?
Yeah. What do you mean you read it was no? Are you also
So
one of
then
those people that like read the Twitter that was like, we know the game script and exactly how it's going to go and believed it?
Yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm betting on exactly what I see on Twitter. I always believe the internet. That's my MO.
At a later date, I want to hear Intern P's thoughts on the Russian space balloon.
I actually didn't see that.
But definitely
I
not
actually-
today.
Yeah.
All right, but if I was going to pick a color, I'm going with yellow. Yellow is the best Gatorade flavor. You can argue with me, but it is the best. So, oh, you're shaking your head, huh?
Yellow is behind orange, red, blue, like almost every other color.
no chance.
I actually, if we're just talking about the flavor that we prefer to drink, I like lemon lime. It's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, suck it.
Scott, who do you think's going to win this game, and what's the score going to be?
All right, so I've got, and I'll just give both. It's the Eagles by 1.5. I think the over/under is at 51. The headline here is if you give me Mahomes and Reed versus a first-time quarterback, first-time coach in the Super Bowl, I'm taking Mahomes and Reed on 2 weeks to prepare with the MVP. I got the Chiefs winning. I got it 31-28. And I've been going back and forth whether or not it's 28-28. Mahomes gets the ball with 30 seconds left and goes down and kicks a field goal. Or
I think Butker would kick the field goal, but yeah.
I was going to say I don't
Point
think
well
Mahomes kicks. Yeah.
I think they might, let Mahomes kick just to get him the MVP. Or it's 28-24 and the Chiefs need a touchdown and Mahomes takes him down. I'll go. I know we went a little long. I'll just give you a little bit of So 31-28 Chiefs. I think the way that this plays out is the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball on the Eagles with a lot of underneath stuff. Their game plan is going to look very similar to what they did to the 49ers early in the year, which is jet sweeps, leave the DNs unblocked, use their aggression, the Eagles' aggression to their advantage. And a lot of stuff I've read is like the Eagles don't have a very good run defense. They don't have a very good short passing defense. So I think Mahomes and Reed pick them apart underneath. It's a ton of yak. I do think Mahomes his ankle's better and he's gonna use his legs a little bit, break contain, and get out of the pocket. And then, as I said earlier, I think the matchup between Spagnuolo and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' offense is important. One of the most interesting stats I've heard is that Jalen Hurts is 31st, basically the worst quarterback in the league when you flush him from the pocket and he has to either run or throw on the run. So he's really good running in a controlled environment. He's really good passing in a controlled environment. He's not good when you blitz or you speed him up. And so Spagnuolo has blitzed a lot less this year. I think he's got to create havoc. And I think he's got to like bring safeties and corners on blitzes. He's got to like bring them to disrupt the run game, right? Just like bring linebackers, safeties, corners into gaps in the run game. And make Hurts throw it, put those rookies on an island, the rookie corners on an island. You might get burnt by A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith a time or two, but it's like I said earlier, I don't care. I think the way that this doesn't turn out great for the Chiefs is if you let them just bludgeon you for 3 yards a pop and they're spending 8-9 minutes a drive on the field. So give me the Chiefs in 2 weeks of game planning. Give me Mahomes and like a legacy-defining Super Bowl win. Chiefs 31-28.
Excellent pick. Excellent analysis.
Is there anything in your bones that would let you pick against the Chiefs, though? Like, was that ever in the cards, like, ever one time?
There's 100% not. I'll tell you guys and the listeners a little bit, because I'm also a little bit financially tied up in this pick. But there it is. There it is. But I think, once again, I say this every week. I hope my wife's not listening. I told you guys earlier in the year that in October-ish, I put $100 on Super Bowl exact result, Chiefs to beat Eagles. And so it was $100 to pay $2,000. Like Chiefs to beat Eagles exact result. The smart thing for anyone to do would be to just hedge that. So
never hedge. You can use at 100. You can use at 100.
So like all I had to do was place a bet on the Eagles to cover 1.5, and you basically win $1,000 either way. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I just doubled down everything on the Chiefs. Sprinkled a little on Mahomes to win MVP just to get that juice at 120 plus 125. I'm all in. Yeah. So the answer is probably no, intern P. But I also legitimately think they're gonna win.
Okay.
Yeah. P, let's get your quick pick and I'll close it out.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of analysis, unlike Scott here. He did a great job, but
it's a real. If you're new to the show, intern P never has any analysis, so
it's all off of vibes. It's all off of vibes. I just feel the vibes on the games, and I feel the Chiefs vibes this game, mostly because I'll go to a lot of Super Bowl parties, and I don't really want to be the guy that's excited to do it last week when I was rooting for the Bengals, and it was not that fun. I watched Sasha almost punch one of his friends, so I don't really want to get punched by Sasha.
He's strong.
So I'm just going to go with the Chiefs. Obviously, I want to see scoring. So I want 35 Chiefs to 28. I think I want to see the game in on a kneel because I like to see Mahomes go back and everyone loses their rushing props over. And it made me laugh that one year when he lost like 12 yards on the kneel down.
That was one of the props that we didn't get to. Does the game end on a kneel? So I'll mark that as a yes for you.
So I want the game to end on a kneel, 35 to 28.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's not like a huge secret that I'm probably going to pick the Chiefs here. But I feel a little bit differently about like the flow of the game than you guys. I do think the Chiefs would be wise to play aggressively, which could lead to a higher scoring game. Like either they get turnovers and score, or the Eagles score fast. I don't know if Spagnuolo is going to do that. I think the Eagles want to try to control the game, and the Chiefs, I think, are going to run a little bit more than normal, and maybe have longer drives as well. So I'm going to go with a pick that hits the under. Not a super low scoring game, but I'll go Chiefs 27, Eagles 21. The over-under set at 51, I believe, so that puts it at 48. I think it ends on a kneel down as well. I think the Eagles have the ball at some point in the fourth quarter with a chance to, like, with the score sitting at 27-21, a chance to try to score a touchdown. They lose the ball, and then the Chiefs have to execute a 4-minute drive, which, by the way, isn't their specialty. But I think the Chiefs get a key first down late in the game to set up a kneel down.
If you're a Chiefs fan, I think that game, that all makes sense to me too. If you're a Chiefs fan, worst case scenario is 27-21 and the Eagles have the ball and you're like, whoops. Oh, Owen, take that out. Or we'll just bleep it out. Or we just mark the podcast explicit. Sorry. Yeah. And you're like, oh man, Mahomes isn't even going to have this in his hands and the Eagles can go down and win it with the touchdown.
Yeah, you always want the Chiefs to have the ball last. Unfortunately, over the years, the games that they have lost at times are usually when they have a chance to close out the game with the ball and end up giving it back to the other team. So
yeah,
could be interesting. Yeah,
one thing you brought up, which I meant, I do think this is going to be a close game, which means turnovers probably decide it. And I'm not like so. Either Spagnuolo speeds up the Eagles and they turn it over, or Eagles pass rush gets to Mahomes. But I think that becomes a really key deciding factor in the game.
You heard it here first, folks. Turnover margin is important in an NFL game. We're going to, on the other side of the break, we're going to catch up with Darius Stills. He's been a member of the Chiefs before, and his father as well, so it should be a good interview. Thanks for listening to BroStorm Sports. We'll see you on the other side. Having an event that needs amazing entertainment? Hi-Fi Productions is the way to go. They bring their mobile dueling pianos and provide a highly interactive and fun show that's perfect for fundraisers, corporate events, or any kind of party. Is somebody getting married soon? Hi-Fi also provides the best wedding DJ service around, winning Wedding Wire's Couples Choice Award 4 years in a row. They know how to pack a dance floor. Based in Wichita, Kansas, visit hifiproductions.net to book your unforgettable event. We're here with Darius Stills, former West Virginia defensive tackle, also spent some time with the Chiefs and the Raiders, and is currently getting ready to play the USFL season with the Birmingham Stallions. Darius, how we doing today?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. Just hoping intern P shows up for this interview, but you know, it's part of life. So, Darius, it's Super Bowl week, so talk to us about like what Super Bowl week means to you and what you're going to be doing come Sunday.
Super Bowl week means a lot, to me and my family. We grew up watching the Super Bowl every year. Obviously, always wanted to play in the NFL growing up. So that's obviously the dream is to make it to the Super Bowl, make the NFL, but also make it to the Super Bowl too. So it means a lot. And what I'm going to be doing is probably just hanging out with my girlfriend's family like I always do. Just like go over there on Sundays, have a few drinks and then chill out, hang out. But, my girlfriend can't have no drinks because she's pregnant right now. So just me. I'm soloing it this time.
You can have a few extra for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and congratulations on that, by the way. Darius was telling us before we hopped on that he's going to be a father very soon. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Speaking of family, obviously you've played it in college with your brother Dante, and the Kelsey brothers are squaring off in a Super Bowl against each other. First, we'll get into like what it would be like to play against your brother in a Super Bowl. But first, what's it been like playing with your brother in high level Division I college football?
Oh, it's crazy because not a lot of people get to experience that. And just having, me and my brother there like that, playing on defensive line, making plays, it's a dream come true because, ever since we saw our dad play, honestly, we started to really like football watching our dad play because we saw him play against the Cleveland Browns one year, and that's when we really knew we wanted to do what we're doing. So we always chased that dream growing up, and then it's funny because West Virginia wasn't the first school to offer Dante and I at the same time. It was Rutgers. So we thought we were about to go to Rutgers and play, and then West Virginia offered me, and then we ended up coming to Morgantown. So it's a lot. It's very, you can't really describe the feeling. Just know it's very, I'm very grateful, very blessed to be able to, experience that with my brother. So.
Was it always like, did you guys always know it was going to be like a package deal?
Yeah.
Like you were always going to go to the same school?
Yeah. Unless the school, unless we had to depart, but we're always a package deal. Rutgers understood that, and then they offered both at the same time. But then when I committed to Rutgers, West Virginia, pulled the plug on me and decided to offer me too. So yeah, definitely package deal. It was always a dream for us to play together growing up. So yeah.
Did you guys grow up near Morgantown, or was it a ways off for you guys?
Yeah. We grew up in Fairmont, so it's right 30 minutes away.
Okay.
If you're speeding, it's 20, 25.
Was West Virginia kind of like the dream school for you guys, or was it just kind of going to come down to whoever offered you?
Oh, it was always a dream school. Growing up, Dante and I had, we had a mountaineer room, so I had the gold side, he had the blue side. So it was always, I'd say meant for us to go to West Virginia, and plus we always was prayed to go there. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Scott and I shared a room as kids too, so it's a BroStorm kind of week with the Kelsey brothers going into the Super Bowl.
Yes.
What would it be like as you're going to get back into the NFL, as you were telling me before we got on, and Dante's getting ready for the draft right now? What would it be like if you guys one day squared off in the Super Bowl?
It's crazy because we just talked about this 2 days ago. So we've always played with each other, but we never played against each other. It'd also be life changing because you see the brothers the Kelsey brothers doing it. You see a lot of other brothers doing it, but playing the Super Bowl against your brother. I mean, you talk about this your whole life. Wanting to be in the NFL, and then you're you're playing in the most important game of the season, Super Bowl. I mean, you can't beat that, and it'll be a dream come true for us. Just time will tell, and yeah. I mean, it gets me excited thinking about it because I've missed 2 seasons just because I've been hurt, and seeing these brothers, playing Super Bowl, just knowing they grew up with each other their whole lives, played at the same school, basically doing what Dante and I did, but they're just kind of farther along now. It is crazy because watching them, do their podcast together and then watch them really just talk to each other. You can tell they're very close, and obviously because they're brothers, but very close, and they all love each other. So I imagine me and Dante be me and Dante all the time.
The thing that I always think about, and you may be a little bit given you where you just came from, is just their parents.
Yeah.
And how proud their parents must be, and how crazy it must be to go to Super Bowl week and have one of your sons on each side. And I'm sure the same for your parents to be able to have 2 boys, send them both to West Virginia, play football, and you guys both have a shot to play in the NFL is a pretty amazing accomplishment as a parent.
Oh yeah. And also we never forget to thank our mom, thank our dad. My dad, he gave us the vision, but my mom kept us on the right track. So, we always thank our mother, and it's crazy because, it's only 2% of kids go to high school Division I, and it's less than that to have 2 of them, and then less than
for sure
2 brothers that are the same position. What are the odds of that? So we're always grateful and blessed for, what we've accomplished so far and what we're going to accomplish, and we always thank our parents. So.
Yeah, I was kind of reading up before we hopped on. Obviously, your dad played in the NFL. You and your brother, NFL aspirations right now, and then your cousin Kenny played in the NFL. What does it like to come from a family of so many talented football players, and does it create a lot of expectations coming up?
Oh yeah, for sure. It most definitely does. I mean, it's crazy because the pressure that Dante and I felt going into college for our dad, what he done. I can't imagine if I or Dante have a son, what their expectations are going to be. So it's always just going to get harder and harder as you go down the bloodline. But, so far we've always, met expectations and exceeded them. So really no pressure, I say, because we've always loved the game. We've always loved what goes into the good or the bad. So we always just took everything bad with a grain of salt and moved on, and always took everything good, I say, with a grain of salt and moved on, because at the end of the day, you could be up right now, but you can fall on your face the next day. So we always just try to keep consistent as possible.
We're talking to Darius Stills. Now, Darius, obviously, one of your NFL experiences so far, and the Chiefs and the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl. One of your NFL experiences was in the Chiefs organization. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like being in the organization and what your experience was like there?
Yeah, so I came in during OTAs, so nothing too much was going on. It was just kind of off-season training. So I went in there, did that for about 4 months, and then I hurt I had back issues with the Raiders. I was taking epidural shots every 6 months just to numb the pain, but it really wasn't helping anything. So after I got released from the Raiders in camp because I broke my finger, I had to wear a club during against the Rams I was playing. Went to the Chiefs, and then my back was all right, And then the epidural was funny. Well, it's really not funny, but the epidural wore off the same day as a workout. So like I'm in there stretching in stretch lines for the workout, and I go to bend down, and I feel like that sharp pain again in my leg, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I thug it out the whole workout. Then had the physicals come along, which is the hardest part because I had to act like I wasn't hurting, but I really was. I couldn't sit down, nothing. And past that, got the contract, we're good. And then doing OTAs with the Chiefs, my back was a little tight. Got a masseuse. She loosened me up so much that this just like fell out basically. And I knew I was gonna get released. I was like, yeah, I can't walk. I had to have my girlfriend pick me up from the massage because I couldn't even put my shorts on to get in the car. Like it was just that I had 2 herniated discs, and got released. And then now I had to have surgery a couple weeks later. I'm good to go now. So
yeah.
It's honestly,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not that you were hurt, but that you're feeling good now. Obviously, going ahead and playing the USFL season with the Birmingham Stallions coming up this year. What does it mean that you have that opportunity to work your way back to the NFL through a league like the USFL? And how excited are you that there are these alternative options that you can show that you're still a great football player?
Oh, like I'm extremely grateful because the USFL and the XFL, the XFL was there before, but it kind of like went away, right? And then USFL was new last year. So, it's just, I'm very grateful because there's some people that would never ever get opportunity again. And I could play this game. So just the last 2 years of me just sitting out watching my friends play on TV, it really like made me feel like it hurt for real. Cause I'm like, all right, I can play these guys I had before. It's just like, I'm watching them. So I'm very grateful, and I'm excited and very extremely blessed to have the opportunity to play again. Cause I can still play this game. I'm 24 years old and I'm young. My back's good. My finger's good. I'm ready to go.
I feel like you sharing a little bit of like your experience in that is just like insight for us and the listeners of just like how crazy it is to be an NFL player and what you guys put your body through.
Yeah, it's very cutthroat organization, and like especially if you're undrafted, you can get cut just like that. But I was fortunate enough to have with the Raiders. I was going to make the 53-man roster, but I had a meeting with the GM and everything, and they were saying you can make the roster, put you on practice squad, or you can get your finger right, but we just don't have the stuff here to like really help you out with that. So I was like, I'll just sacrifice my time, and then took a season off, and then sacrificed some more time with my back. So I'm really just sacrificing my time now. I just hope God gives me what I've sacrificed for. Not gives me, but blesses me with new opportunities. So and he had God just take advantage of it now.
Obviously, your brother Dante is kind of like getting ready for the draft right now, I believe. Any chance that you guys reunite and end up in an NFL organization together after your season in the USFL?
I think so. So it's like this. So my path has always been harder. So like, just how it's always been growing up. I don't know if I asked for it or not, but we always wanted to play on the same NFL team. My draft class was 2 years ahead of Dante, so the likelihood of that wasn't going to happen. But so I have a feeling that Dante's going to go, obviously get drafted or wherever he ends up, and then after the USFL season, I'll probably just sign to wherever team he's at. That's I think is going to happen, but you never know. There's scouts, the Shrine Bowl, they're saying that they're happy for me to be able to go to USFL to give them film because I'm a great ball player. I just need get some film. So hopefully that happens. If not, hey. But, we can't tell 10 years down the road. Maybe after both of our contracts are up, we sign the same team. Like I said, time will tell. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You can check out Darius on the Birmingham Stallions this upcoming USFL season. Just real quick, Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. Do you have any rooting interest? Are you going to be a Chiefs guy? Do you have any predictions on the game, anything like that?
I'm going to this game unbiased. They got both great ball clubs. I mean, they both got players. It's really anybody's game. You know, you can't sleep on Pat Mahomes. You can't do that, but you can't sleep on Jalen Hurts either. So it's really just a great game that's going to happen, and I'm excited to see who wins.
Did you play against Jalen Hurts in college? I didn't see that. Was he there when you were
there? My junior year.
He was.
I almost sacked him. I was like close to sacking him, and then Reese Darkview got him. So I was like, eh. But yeah.
Hey Darius, what's your DT? What's your take on Chris Jones and just the way that, I feel like we saw it last year in the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald basically made the game-changing play to end that game. I'm just curious here on Chris Jones, but more specifically, like being able to disrupt the game and the other offensive's game plan from the DT position.
Well, the game always comes down to the line of scrimmage, no matter what game it is, no matter what type it is. The only thing that's different about this game is it's the Super Bowl, a lot more eyes on you. But it really just comes down to trenches like it always does. I would say just, being able to disrupt at a D tackle spot, I mean, you got a lot more freedom being able to go between the B gap and A gap, depending on what the scheme is. But I say just if he single-handedly disrupts his line of scrimmage, the game might go to Kansas City just because, such a big body, long arms, great athlete. I mean, he's one of the best in the league. I say 2 or 3 in the league. Aaron Donald's one. But I say if he can disrupt the game, then, the scale is going to fall towards the Chiefs a little bit. But, the Eagles got a lot of dogs in that D-line. So
let's go, Chris Jones.
So it's going to down. I'm telling you, it's going to come down to whatever defensive line disrupts and moves.
So P was asking you about facing Jalen Hurts. You're a Big 12 guy, West Virginia. Did you face Pat Mahomes in college too?
Nah, he came a year. He went to the draft my freshman year. So
okay.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you which of them was harder to get on the ground,
sure.
But we're Chiefs guys
and Baker. I played against Baker, Kyler, and Jalen. Kyler,
yeah.
I never it's funny because Kyler Murray's really really quick, but Baker is quick with his decisions. So my freshman year, I played against him, and before I can even get out of my stance, the ball's already out of his hands. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm sitting there like, wait, I want to make it to the NFL. Is this how fast I got to go? But then as time goes, you get faster, you get better. Jalen, he was more of a calm, collected guy. He really wasn't. I mean, he's fast, and obviously, but just his decision making, he was more of a sit in a pocket type of guy in college. I mean, he'd run, obviously, but he was more calm in there. But Kyler Murray, you can't really see him because he's 5'7" or something, 5'8", whatever. They 5'10" on Google or whatever, but he's 5'7". But yeah.
Them Oklahoma teams are soft, man.
Soft, but they fast. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Kyler Murray's cool. We had that high scoring game when we were in Morgantown that one year. And it's crazy because they were saying both defenses were terrible, but both the offenses were just see the weapons they had on offense. I mean, you couldn't really stop them. But and then Jalen, I like playing against Jalen the most because he's a bigger body. You can see him. But
yeah.
It's interesting that you were saying that Jalen's a little bit more cool, calm, a little bit from the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I think the key to this game will be the Chiefs trying to speed him up.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if they bring pressure, maybe from the secondary, or because I think if you let him operate back there, he's a smooth operator.
But it's
if you get him,
but it's if you let him sit if you bring pressure from the safeties, then who's going to guard the wide receivers? So it's just
yeah, put those rookies on an island.
It's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, it should be an awesome game. Got the brother theme in the game. We got the brother theme with Darius and Dante here. Darius, we really appreciate you joining us. You got anything you want our listeners to know before you go?
Just say thank all y'all for tuning in and listening to me, and thank you guys for inviting me on the show. It means a lot.
All right, that was
thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Your time is valuable. You're about to have a daughter, so we really appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, good luck. Stay healthy.
Congrats on that.
Gotta stay healthy.
Have a good USFL season. Welcome back into BroStorm Sports, where we're getting you ready for the Super Bowl. But the Super Bowl does also mean one little sad reality. there's only one football game left in this NFL season, and we're going to have to talk about something else on BroStorm Sports coming up in the coming weeks. So we want to get you primed up a little bit, and it's a good time to do it because a lot of things happened in the NBA this week, and that's one of the things we're going to be taking on quite a bit in BroStorm Sports after the starting next week. So first of all, Scott, Kevin Durant to Phoenix, Kyrie Irving to Dallas. Does that make one of them the most important contenders in the West?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I just want to say awesome interview with Darius. Pretty cool to have a former Chiefs player whose dad played for 10 years on the Chiefs talking to us a couple days before the Chiefs Super Bowl. So huge thank you and shout out to him for joining. I am also sad about football season ending, so I don't really want to talk about this. The answer's got to be Phoenix, right? And the huge takeaway here is that the Brooklyn Nets, like debacle has got to be like the biggest superstar debacle in the history of the NBA. But I go with the Nets. You got Kevin Durant, you got Chris Paul, you got Devin Booker, and then they somehow hung on to DeAndre Ayton. So I don't know how that's not the overwhelming favorite in the West. I watched a little bit of the Mavs game after, like, in Kyrie's first game without Luka. He looked amazing. I'm just highly skeptical of those two super ball dominant guards playing together. So I think it's Phoenix. Denver didn't do much. So yeah, the NBA just got more interesting. So that's good for us and having some content to talk about for the next several months.
Yeah. The interesting thing too is, like, it feels like the power has shifted back to the West again, which for the last couple of years, it's kind of evened out, but who's really, I mean, you still have Boston in the East, you still have Philly in the East, but in Milwaukee, of course, but none of those teams are really that interesting. They're good teams and they could win the championship, but I don't find them super interesting.
I disagree. I think Jason Tatum's pretty interesting. They're just so good. They win, I think they're 36-13 or something. But I will say the Celtics are a loser of this trade deadline. A lot of teams got better, and they didn't really do much. So I think that's going to hurt them. They were kind of running away they were running away to win the finals, honestly. And now the Suns are right on their tail. I think they're plus 350, and they were plus 1,900 or something on Tuesday.
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown
Celtics
broke his face, quite literally.
Oh,
yeah, that's
rough. That's not good. That's a loss too.
All right, P. I'm going to close this out, but I got one quick question for you before we finish up the episode. Many moons ago, you told me the big quesarito and Nikola Jokic were going to take home the championship. I'm going to give you a chance to amend that pick. Are you sticking with it?
I am. I actually. So my friend's a really big Nuggets fan, and he put $300 on the Nuggets to win the championship, which he doesn't have that much money, so I don't know where he gets his funds. So I kind of was helping him out. I was like, hey man, you should really make this bet. I don't know if I really meant it, but I just wanted to see him throw some money on it. So I am still riding with the Denver Nuggets. I do have my Jokic jersey, and I will be rooting for the big quesarito.
That's intern P in a nutshell, encouraging people to bet money they don't have.
Well, it's worked out for him, right? It's not like he's still living in his mom's basement or anything.
That's fair.
Big Quesarito was one of the greatest sound bites in BroStorm Sports history.
I'd agree.
I kind of want a quesarito now. Are they open?
Scott, you got anything to throw out for the end of our Super Bowl special before I close this out?
I don't, man. It's been an amazing season. I'm a biased Chiefs fan, but like I need a win on Sunday. So, I wanted to ask you guys more for Sasha. I don't know. It's more like how many beers are you drinking if the Chiefs win on Sunday?
Dry Sunday. I just came back from a cruise.
Are you serious?
I will be drinking champagne only, which doesn't count.
If the Chiefs win, I'm stepping on the gas aggressively.
If the Chiefs win, Scott, are you showing up to work on Monday?
I've already done some calendar blocking. Let me just say that, intern P.
No.
That sounded really nerdy. I'm gonna stop talking now.
Scott, advertising for Nerd Wallet again. It's been a few months. I love it. That's going to do it for this BroStorm Sports episode. A lot of new listeners out there. Subscribe, follow us at BroStorm Sports on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We got a wave of followers going on there, about 5,000 out there. So we want you to join the BroStorm and rate us 5 stars. If you've listened this far, you liked something you heard. This has been the BroStorm Sports Podcast. We'll see you next time.